Hello, my beading friends. This is Kristen Fagan here with Soft Flex Company. We are just going to get started in a moment here. For those of you on Facebook, I saw that there could be an issue with the streaming software on Facebook currently today. So if I get cut off, I guess there's like something going on where you might just get cut off. I should still be on YouTube. And as of right now, I'm only seeing comments from people on YouTube. So if you hear on Facebook, oh, there's Deborah. Hi, Deborah. Hi, Lee, Suha, Paula, and Gail. Hello, everyone. Just wanted to make sure I was even live on Facebook, and it looks like I am. Ooh, my table is full of goodies today. Hey, everybody. Welcome. We are going to talk about knitting today. Kathy can hear me. Hi, Angie. Hi, Julie, Paula, Deborah. Good to see everybody. So I just mentioned briefly, hi, Charlene and Carmen. Our streaming software had a little bit of a warning when I went live saying that for some reason, some of the Facebook streams are just getting cut short. So if I get cut on Facebook, I believe this will still be running on YouTube, so you can come jump and join me over there. But hopefully it will be fine and they've got it worked out. So, hi, Maria, Beads Express, and Deborah again. Barbara, great to see everybody. So today we are talking about tools, and specifically I'm going to be talking about the knitting spool. Actually, I haven't really talked about this tool in a while. We've got 20% off all jewelry making tools going on at softflexcompany.com through tomorrow, April 27th at midnight Pacific time. So if you go to our homepage, there is a slide that shows all of the tools. You can click on that slide and it'll take you to our tool category. Everything in there is 20% off. You just need to add the item to your cart and you'll see the discount there for retail price purchases. And you can also find it by going to softflexcompany.com, click the shop button in the drop down, and then go to tools and supplies. And everything in that section is on sale. So if you need new cutters or new pliers, crimping pliers, if you haven't picked up a magical crimper yet, now would be a good time. Kumihimo boards, macrame boards, wig jigs, what else? Lazy Daisy, Viking knit spool little tool, and I'm going to be using the knitting spool today. Laura needs tools. Yes, tools just make our job a little bit easier. And oh, bead stoppers are in there, which gotta have bead stoppers. What else is in there? We even have some items like the hammer for the metal stamping that you can use for making metal texture. And it also comes with a nylon tip so you can change it out and use it as a nylon hammer or the metal texture hammer. Those are in there. Lots of good stuff. We all need good tools to make our jewelry making a little bit easier, quicker, and to have some new techniques like the one I'm going to share with you guys today. So hope everyone is doing well. Let's go down to my demo table. And take a look at some knitting designs. So pretty much every design here, I think I'm going to show, we have a video on at one time or another. I've got two out of the three spools here. This is what's called a knitting spool, and it comes with a 5-pin a 4-pin, or a 3-pin. And we have all 3 sizes in stock currently, which is great. The only difference between them is the thickness of the knitted wire that you get. Everything else is the same. You can do, all of the knits can be done on either size. And just to show you a size comparison, this is the piece I'm going to play with today. That was done with 2 colors of Soft Flex medium beading wire, the turquoise and the purple on the 5-pin. And then this one is the same knit, same colors of wire on the 3-pin. And the 4-pin would just be somewhere in between these. So this is the thickest, the 5-pin. This is the thinnest, the 3-pin. And then there's a 4 that would be somewhere in the center there. So I do a lot of bracelets with the knitting spool, mostly, but you can do bracelets or necklaces, even done some earrings in the past too. So this is done with the knits. We have 3 styles of knits on the Soft Flex Company website. If you go to the School of Design and then click on tips and tricks, in there we'll show 3 different styles: knit style 1, knit style 2, and knit style 3. This is the knit style 3. It is it uses probably the most wire. It's a very tight knit, and it looks a lot like a Viking knit. So we're going to play with these colors today and work on that. But let me share with you a few other ones I've got here. So this one is also done with knit style 3, but it's only 1 beading wire color, and it has seed beads that were added while knitting. So you can add beads if you want to and not just have the wire. If you're going to add beads to this knit style 3, you're probably just going to stick with 1 wire color, not the 2, because it's already really thick. I don't know how I would even get the beads on there. But you can totally do it with 1 color. This is done with the Soft Flex Econoflex line in the spring green color. This is the medium diameter. And I should say that I think most of the ones I'm going to show you today are done with the medium diameter, but you can use any diameter of beading wire, and you can use any of our brands. So it works with Soft Flex, Soft Touch, Econoflex, Pro Econoflex, and any of those would be fine in any of the diameter. The only thing that's going to be different is the feeling of how the knit feels. So that's knit 3. Let me see if I have any other knit 3s. That might be it. Oh, this one here. Okay, so this one was done. This one is knit 3 also, but there's 1 color and no beads on it, no beads inside and no beads on it. And this is for a necklace, so I just have a pendant on the bottom here. Dawn says, I love these. I have made several. Awesome. Yeah, I know. I love these too. I have a few designs that I wear all the time. So this one just uses the knit going up kind of the front of the necklace by the pendant, and then it's finished out with cones at the end and then beaded up through the back. And like I said, we do have video for all of these. So this is done with the 014, and the 014 is just going to be a little bit softer and a little bit more like spongy, I guess would be an interesting word, than the medium. The medium is going to be just a little bit stiffer. So continuing, this one's a knit 3 also. So here's another one that's a knit 3, and it's 1 color. It's the Pro Econoflex in the gold, which I believe we just added some of that to the closeout. And in this one, I knitted just the wire, and I did this on the 5 pin, so it was a little bit larger of a knit. So you knit just the wire and then just drop in those pearl beads in the center. And they're not connected, so you can pull it and allow it to just give a little bit of a stretch because the beading wire has a flexibility to it. You can get a little stretch, and then this particular bracelet doesn't have a clasp. It just rolls on. And I finished off with some handmade cones with Soft Flex craft wire. So you can either do handmade cones like that, or you can do the end caps like this, which we sell at softflexcompany.com, or you can do the hammered cones like that to finish that off. And while I'm still talking about knit number 3, let me pick up this one. This is created by Sarah Ayler, and this one was done with knit number 3 on the 5-pin seed beads down the spine, and this one's done with craft wire, so you can use craft wire instead of beading wire as well. In this particular one, it's a little hard to see, but she does have beads down the center too. Let's see if we can catch them. They're like a tanzanite color in the cage here, and she's got that strung on Soft Flex. So that's what's coming up and then attaching to the clasp here. All right, so now let's talk about knit number 1. So this is the other one that I've done a lot of. I actually haven't done any of the knit style 2, so I've just got the knit style 1 and 3 here. So this is knit style 1 with one color of beading wire and just very loosely created, so not a lot of tension on this one. It's just kind of wild, no beads, and that's what it'll look like. You can do this in multiple colors too. Here it is, knit style 1 with 2 colors. This is the tanzanite and the dark blue lapis of the Soft Flex medium. And then we finished it with these caps and beaded out the rest just to finish off the bracelet there. And this one is knit style 1 as well. This one is made with crystals that were strung while knitting. So they are just in there throughout. And this one's done on black. I think this actually might be, yeah, this feels like medium as well. And then finish with those black hammer cones and a little Anna's clasp. And also the black crimps. So if you use, they are actually sterling and then been blackened at the end. And since I'm using all black findings, they match perfectly. So those are knit style 1. And the last thing I have here is another necklace, but this one was with craft wire. So this is knit style 1 with seed beads throughout the knit, and this one is done on craft wire. Yes, I do, Lee. Lee is asking, do you recommend doing knit 1 to start? Knit style 1 is a bit easier. It uses less wire and the tension is a little bit more forgiving. So I definitely feel like knit style 1, that's the one I learned with first, and I would find that one to be a little bit easier to get started with. So if you go to our tips and tricks section at softflexcompany.com, we do have 3 separate pages for knit style 1, 2, and 3, and that has step-by-step pictures as well as some video there. Then we also have a playlist on YouTube with over 20 different videos using either the knitting spool or the lazy daisy to do some knitting projects. So there's all of the ones Dawn says, now you tell me I started with 3. Well, hey, you started with the hardest one, right? So now you can definitely go to the other. um, so yeah, we've got about 20 videos on YouTube that work with the knitting spool, videos done by Sarah, myself, and James. So all different styles and all different techniques. But today we are going to talk about this little guy. So when I did this bracelet video way back a couple years ago, I ended up with a little segment like this. And this is using the 5-pin. This one's using the 3-pin. They're both using Knit Style 3. This is what I got when I used an entire 10-foot spool of the turquoise and the purple. So I think I used a 10-foot spool on this one too. So you'll see when you use the 3-pin, you're going to get a much longer length than with the 5-pin because you're going around 2 more pegs and you're using more wire to create on this larger, thicker spool. So we're going to do something with this guy today. Let me see how long it was. I feel like it was, yeah, you get a 3-inch segment. So it's pretty small. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to do a necklace and kind of make it be the center and put something here, or a bracelet. And I'm kind of leaning towards a bracelet and just have that be like the little focal point with some beads on the side. I just feel like it's a little bit short for a necklace. I think it's going to bend a little oddly. So if you were using the 3-pin, you would get a lot more length of wire, but it'll be thinner. So depending on what you like. And I will say, I think if you're doing the one knit style 1, you're going to get a lot more with the 5-pin as well. This one is a lot more open, this type of knit, and this one is a lot more tight. So you just use a lot more wire. You can. Becky is asking, can you do kumihimo with it? Yeah, you can kumihimo with Soft Flex Beading Wire and Soft Flex Craft Wire. We actually have a playlist on YouTube for all of those as well. You can check out our kumihimo playlist and see all of the designs we've done with Soft Flex Beading and Craft Wire on the square and the round kumihimo discs. You have a bracelet with that knitting too, Paula's saying, in question mark. I'm wearing a bracelet with that knitting. Yeah, this one is the same knit on the 3-pin with Knit Style 3 using the Soft Flex, medium, turquoise, and fluorite colors together. Exactly, Deborah. Use 4 pegs and you'll get something in between. That is exactly right. That's kind of why I always just say that. I got the largest and the smallest of the spools, and then if you want somewhere in the middle, then you use the 4 peg. All right, so let's get started here. So I'm going to work right from the spool. It's really nice when you're doing these to work right from the spool because I don't really know how much length of wire you need. I tend to just knit until I'm happy with the size of the knitted piece. And so if you've got a 10-foot spool, I would work right from it, or a 30-foot spool or a 100-foot spool. Whichever you got, just open up your spools and grab your wire right from it. And I'm using, these are both medium, Soft Flex Beading Wire medium, 0.019 diameter in the green turquoise and the purple. I'm going to take both strands down the center of my spool. And you want to leave a nice amount of space so that you can hold onto it down here and allow it to have a a good amount of tension. So about that much. If you use 2 wires, you're going to get a braid that is a little bit thicker. Yeah. So these are 2 wires on the knit 1 or the knit 3. And it'll just be a little bit thicker, a little bit stiffer. So if I was to do this with just 1, it's going to be a little bit softer and more spongy. And then it gets a little stiffer the more wire you use. I've never used more than 2 wires at a time, 2-wire colors. I know that Sarah, I believe, has done the trios, and so she has used 3. So you can use 3, but I've never gone up more than 2. All right, so now that we've got our wire down the center, you see I have my pegs numbered here clockwise, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're going to wrap clockwise around number 1, and then we're going to go counterclockwise around the spool. So I'm going to take it clockwise around number 1 peg, then go to 5, and then go around that one. Clockwise, and then go to 4, and go around that one. And then go to 3, that one, and then go to 2, that one, and then go back to 1. I'm just going to hold on to that for a second. So you'll see they're all looped around. And Deborah's asking, is it comfortable to wear, not scratchy or pulling hairs? No, not scratchy or pulling hairs at all. It's actually very soft and comfortable to wear. I wear it as necklaces, especially around the back side of your necklace, and it doesn't get caught in my hair, and my hair gets caught in everything usually. And I don't have any problem with it being scratchy on my bracelet either. All right, so we went around all of our loops. Now we're back to number 1, and we are going to go just above all of our loops and wrap it around all of the pegs. So go around all of the pegs. We're just wrapping around the outside. And then you come back to number 1 again, and you do a 3rd pass above the loop, and then you're going to hold your finger in place there. So now I'm going to grab this loop at the bottom with my stylus. I'm going to pull the wire out and go up over my little pin and just lightly pull it down. I don't want to pull it too much because you're going to use some of this loose tension here to grab with your next loop. So now I go to the next peg, I pull that out and go up over the pin, wrap it around the outside of the next one. You're always going on top of the wires you've got there. So this wire that's loose is always going on top. And then I'm always grabbing the 2 loops from the bottom, pulling that out and going over. And it's the same process if you're just using 1 wire. I'm just happening to use 2. So you got to make sure that you're picking up both those colors every time on that bottom loop. And if you were using just 1 color, you would just be picking up 1. Go over that peg. And then if you need a little extra tension, you just got to kind of pull it. You can use your stylus, pull it out. I will say when you're using 2 wires, it's tighter than if you're using 1. So if you've never done this before, knit style 1 is a little bit easier. Knit style 3 is a little more advanced. And if you've never done knit style 3, I would start with 1 color, and then you can always add the 2nd color. And Kathy says, we used to do this with yarn or cord when I was a kid. Yeah, it's the exact same process. And Aisha says, is it hard to pull? It does get harder to pull the more wire colors you add. So it's easier to pull when you've got one color. It's a little harder to pull when you've got two colors. It'll be a little harder to pull when you've got three colors. And now once you get going, you just got to make sure you poke. Let me not hit my camera. I usually have to use the stylus to poke in between those wires and grab that bottom loop. And then go up and over. So I come in here and poke. You're always grabbing the last two on the peg and go over. And after you do a few, you can kind of tug on the bottom, either with your hand or use your chain nose pliers to give it a little tug to push it down. And then you'll just keep doing that over and over again until you get either finished with your spool or you get to a length that you are happy with, because it's going to eventually start feeding down the center and coming out the bottom. Catherine says, hey, Kristen, I had to go to the YouTube channel because it keeps freezing up on me on Facebook. Yeah, that can happen. It could be your Facebook connection, or it could be something to go with the stream. I said in the beginning of this video that the stream software gave me a bit of a warning that it's been cutting off a little bit on Facebook. So if you're having trouble seeing me on Facebook, come join me over on YouTube. It should be fine over there. Thanks for letting me know. Okay, so once you're done, actually, I would probably grab this little guy here. So once you're done, you'll take it off the spool. So say I was done here, I would cut my wire off the spool, and you're gonna wanna leave a little bit of wire here, maybe like, I don't know, 4 inches possibly. Cut the wire, and then you're going to pop these loops off. I usually pop them up a little bit just to get them off the bottom of the spool. And you're going to feed the wire through each of the loops. So you'd feed your ends through each of the loops to close it up, and then you'll be able to pull it closed. So it'll look something like that at the end. Or sometimes it can get a little wonky looking and look something like that. And this is why cones and caps are really helpful when working with the knitting spool, because you really want to kind of cover that up, and the cone or the cap, or you can make your own with craft wire, will clean that up for you. So here I have put on 2 caps on this little segment that I created, and I've just got crimped on each side. And we've got these caps in all different colors. We've got them in gold, antique gold, antique copper. This is a pewter kind of color, and then this is the bright rhodium that I have used here. So just to show you, say I was going to use one of these, you just feed it through, just like so. That covers up your end, and you can use a cone as well. These caps are a little bit bigger, so they're good for the 5. They're good for the 5 peg size. This one was done on the 3, so you can get away with a little bit smaller of a cone here. But you just slide that on. It would clean up your end, and then you're going to add your crimp here and then loop back down, and then you'd have your connection for however you want to end it, or if you want to add some beads and stuff to it like we're going to do today. Tony says, yeah, we have lots of videos. We have over 20 videos of doing the knitting spool. You know, maybe I'll do one without the two colors and just do the one color. It might be a little bit easier to see. So let me cut this off. And actually, I'll just do it on the 3-pin since that's kind of on there. All right, so I'm going to do the same knit style 3, but I'm just going to do it with the one color, and I'm going to do it down the 3-pin. So you put your wire down the center and hold onto it there. Then you're going to wrap your wire around clockwise the peg and then counterclockwise the spool. So you're going to wrap it around 1, wrap it around 2, wrap it around 3. And then you're going to come back around the outside of the pegs all the way. So 1, 2, and 3, and it's above your loop. You're going to make sure you're going above your loop, wrap it all the way around, and you're back to number 1 again. And now you're going to just do it just around the outside of 1, and you're going to hold it in place. Now we're going to pick up that bottom loop under 1 and go up over our peg and then just gently tug on our tail. Now we're going to go around 2, around the top of it. So you've already got your loop here. The other wrap, we're going around the 3rd time. You're going to grab that loop and go up around 2. And then you're going to do the same thing on 3, wrap around 3. You need to grab the loop, which is on the bottom, and go up around your peg. And then you just keep going. So every time you're doing that pass around here and grabbing the loop on the bottom, going up around the peg. And then you just pull on your tail on the bottom there. And it is a lot, the tension is a lot easier with one color. So I would suggest starting with one color. And then if you're ready to move on, you just do the same process, but you're doing it with 2 colors. So each time you go out. So hopefully that was a little bit easier to see. And you'll see it does work up a lot more quickly too with the one color. So it's already starting to feed down the center a little bit. Hopefully that helps. And we do have lots more videos online if you need to see it a little bit closer. I've got 2 different strands here that we've got for sale currently. We've got like 4 of these left. These are the egg hunt bead strand, and I feel like the colors are just spot on here. Perfect to go with that. Or I can just go with the purple. Here's the purple orchid, and we have a few of these strands left as well. What do you think? I think I'm really leaning towards the egg hunt. It just feels like the perfect match. And I think I'm going to make a bracelet. So if I were to put this on here, this would be my focal. And then I'm going to bead around the 2 sides. We got 1 vote for egg hunt. So I'm just going to use some of the purple wire since that's the one I ended up using to create my crimped end here. I'll use another piece of purple. And here's a pair of flush cutters. They have one flat side, so it gets a really nice flush cut. They are about $30, so they're currently 20% off until tomorrow if you are in need of a new pair of cutters. This is a great heavy duty. It's a little bit of an upgrade if you've been using a beginner cutter. Egg hunt, egg hunt, egg hunt. Yeah, the egg hunt is really pretty. So many. I like these a lot on there. So many pretty beads. All right, so if we're going to have this as my focal, I'll probably start, maybe I'll do this half here. Suzanne bought a pair of them and she loves them. Yeah, they're a great cutter. They're really a comfortable cutter. They're heavy duty and give you a nice flush cut. Work on both the beading wire and the craft wire. So I'm going to start by just adding a little crimp here to connect these two pieces. I'm using Soft Flex 2x2 crimp tube in sterling silver and just feeding the wire through to create a loop just like that. I think so. Debbie is asking, can the 5-pin be used with only the 3-pin to save money and buying more than one spool? Let's see. So if you look at them side by side, there's 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. The distance is a little bit different between these two and these two. So could you possibly do it and just go through in here? Maybe. I haven't tried it myself, but I will say that the distance between these two pegs is longer than the distance between these two, whereas normally they are the same all the way around. So on this pin, they're all even all the way around, and if you were to just use these 3, you're going to have a longer side here. I don't know how that'll affect the final knit. I'll say I like both of them. If you like chunkier designs, then you'll probably really like the 5-pin. And if you like designs to be a little bit daintier, then I would say go with the smaller and the 3-pin. You're also going to use a little less wire when you're using a 3-pin. Or just go for the 4 and you'll be right in the center. I'm going to go ahead and place my crimp tube right in the middle of my crimping pliers. These are the magical crimping pliers. And that is going to just give it a nice squeeze. It'll give 4 pinched corners, and we're going to turn that 90 degrees. You can either turn your crimp or turn your tool. Place it back in there. Squeeze it again. And then I'm going to go around a few times, cinching that down. And what these crimping pliers do is they turn that crimp tube into a nice little bead. Sort of like a little oval bead there. And that eliminates the need for crimp covers and gives you a little bit nicer of a finish. All right, so now I'm going to add some of these beads from the egg hunt strand. You could change up the strand design, or you can go with how it was. I'm just going to try and go with how it was and see how that looks. Putting it in the same. I'm not sure if I want that larger bead closer. I feel like I might. A little bit closer to the crimp without having that much space. Maybe I'll start it here and just take those two little ones off. Like that. I think I like that better just because I don't want to leave too much space in between there. Let's continue. I might hold on to the little cage bead for something else. So I'll put that one. Yes, that's very true. Deborah says if you plan the design in advance, you could just leave enough wire at the end of the knitted segment to finish stringing the whole bracelet. Yeah. So I'm probably, you could do something like this where you just finish it all depending on and just knit it all the way to the end. I happen to have this little piece already done and sitting in my stash from a previous demo, and I just wanted to use it up. So that was why I am going for this today. And I've done that a few times where you just use like a segment and then you have a few beads and then your clasp. So it's going to be a little bit closer to something like this, but it's even smaller, my little segment here. Suzanne is asking, what's the highest gauge of craft wire you should use with those cutters? I go up to 18 gauge. I haven't done anything thicker than that. So I would say maybe 16 gauge might be a little too thick. But since we only sell craft wire up to 18 gauge, that's all I have tested myself. And that's what we are kind of, and it's okay up to that point. Let's see what this measures. All right, so we're at 5, a little over 5. And this section is going to add 5. That's going to add about 2 inches. I'm going to add a bead stopper here and cut this piece in half. And I'm going to put the other half on this side and then see where I'm at. They do. I just realized your nails match your project yet again. I know. I had a different color on this morning and I took it off and then I was like, oh, what am I going to put on? And of course, I've been beading with a lot of purple lately. So I have like 2 different purple nail polishes, and I feel like I've been using a lot of purple. Janelda says, I have the crimping tool, but I don't think I have the right kind of crimp tubes. So the magical crimping pliers work with only the 2 by 2 millimeter crimp tubes and that you get from us here at Soft Flex Company. The manufacturer that created that tool actually worked with our wire and our crimps to come up with a tool that works just perfectly with them. Soft Flex crimp tubes are double the wall thickness of most on the market, and they are seamless. So if you pick up some of the 2 by 2 millimeter crimp tubes, then you should be all good. Now, why is my wire running away from me today? I know, I've been totally in a purple mood. Which is funny. I'm not generally in a purple mood, but I've been like really embracing purple the last month or so. It must be this egg hunt. It's gonna be this egg hunt kit and the strand and everything. I've just been like super purple. Oh, we also have purple in all of our Pantone stuff. The Pantone quad and the purple orchid. So that must be part of it too, because there's just been a lot of purple. I'm curious to see if this is maybe too long. I saw somebody made a ring out of these really pretty crystals in the VIB group. If you guys are not in the VIB group, come join us. The Soft Flex VIB Studio Facebook group is a lot of fun. Everyone's always creating all sorts of interesting things with our products. And I saw somebody, I don't remember who it was, but they made a ring out of these, and it was so pretty. Okay, let's see how long this is now before I add a clasp. Yeah, so this is a little over 7 inches, and I didn't even add a clasp yet, so it's probably a little too big. Maybe I'll just take off this one, because I do think maybe I'll add this little guy on instead. Save those. And let's see what that reads as. That is about 6.5, which that will be good for me. I have a little bit larger of a wrist, so I think that that would work. Let me just hold it up and test it and make sure. So here we've got like the knitting is my main jam there, and then I've got the beads going down the side. Let's find a clasp. All right, let's see what we got here. I can use some of our little clasps there. I think I have the other ones. Oh, maybe they're over here. I'm trying to be good about putting stuff away, but I haven't been that good about it. I think this size will probably look a little bit better, a little bit bigger. So these are like the tiny little, they're called Anna clasps, and we've got them in all the same metal tones as these little caps here. They are a very petite little toggle, very cute. And then this one I'm going to use here is called the Maker's Clasp, and it's part of the Hammered collection of toggles. And I feel like these beads and stuff are a little bit bigger, so I feel like that size kind of matches better. Yeah, we have, that's why we've got 3. Debbie says she doesn't really care for the small toggles. That's why we have 3 different sets. I've used the small toggle before, and it's quite nice on certain designs. There are some designs that are really very petite, and so if you're working on something like that, it would be nice to have a smaller toggle. Or sometimes if I just have wire, like the Soft Flex wire running up through the back of a necklace, the little toggle could be cute. All right, let's make sure I don't make that same toggle mistake I did last week. So my toggle bar is facing out. Make sure it doesn't get hooked into the wire here. There we go. So I've got my 2 by 2 millimeter crimp tube, my toggle clasp hooked on there, and I'm going to place this right in the center notch. Give it a squeeze. Go 90 degrees, and then I go around a bunch more times. Actually, for those of you, I know I've said it in videos past, but if you ever struggle with sometimes getting the crimp to work well and sometimes it doesn't with this particular plier, pay attention to which way you're holding your pliers. If you're holding with the diameter facing out or the patent number facing out, and see if there's one side that just works better for you than the other, because I found that to be the case for me. Yeah, you could totally use this as a necklace component. And I'm curious to see how this actually, I want it to bend on my wrist like that, like so. I'm hoping it does. So I've got my crimp tube around my toggle and back down. For me, I think I do better with the diameter listed facing out. For some reason, that just works. And then I can trim off my edge, all the excess wire I've got there. And let's see if I can put this on. Janelda's asking, do you have to make sure the wire is not crossed when using these tubes and the tool? Yes, it is good practice to always make sure that the Soft Flex wire is not crossed. I will say I don't feel like I need to do it as much with the magical crimper as you do with the regular crimping pliers. However, if you don't pay attention to it, then your wire could lay kind of oddly. So with the regular crimping pliers, you have to pay attention to it because of the security aspect. You really want it to cinch down on the crimp well. With the magical crimping pliers, it's not so much the security, but it is that the wire will lay kind of awkward if it worked how I thought it would. I do need to kind of pull it tight though, because I want it to lay flat on my wrist. I think if I had a looser bracelet, it would lay kind of straight up and down. So I hope that answers your tool. It's always good practice to make sure the wires are not side by side, but it's not as detrimental with the magical crimping pliers as it is with the regular crimping pliers, to make sure that it's doing it. But especially when I'm doing earrings, if you don't pay attention to your wires being side by side in that crimp, you can crimp it and then like your earring just sort of goes in a very awkward position because, and what I'm talking about here is you want to make sure this is your wires crossed and this would be your wires in your crimp side by side. So side by side, they'd be nice and parallel, and that's going to ensure that it's going to lay well. If they are crossed like that, then you could crimp and then maybe something goes off into like an odd direction. Whereas when they're parallel, it's going to be much straighter. All right, you guys, that's it for me today. I hope that that was fun and something different. And I really haven't done any knitting in like a really long time. So it was kind of neat to pull all this stuff out and share with you guys knitting spools again. When we do trade shows, I used to demo this like crazy. I would just sit there and demo knitting spools all day long. So back when we did a lot of trade shows, I used to have all sorts of different knitting projects and things in the works, but I haven't had a chance to do it in a while, and it was kind of nice. It was like riding a bicycle. I was a little nervous I wasn't going to remember, but it came back to me once I got going. So I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. And let's just bring this back up here so I can say goodbye. So we have a bunch of stuff going on this week. We've got Sarah over on JTV tomorrow. I think it's pretty early for us West Coasters, but you could check out jtv.com and the Jewel School Facebook page. She will be live on there tomorrow and then again on May 2nd. And then we also have Kit Day coming up this week. So that's on Wednesday. Woohoo! We've got our brand new kit launching at softflexcompany.com on Wednesday, and Sarah will be doing the reveal and the design challenge with the Resort Chic mystery kit. And we still have a few left. We're about 80% sold out. So if you haven't picked that up yet, go over to our website and you can grab it there, and then you'll see the reveal and the design challenge on Wednesday. And that will be at 3 p.m. Pacific time. And then I'll be back here the following Monday at 2 p.m. Pacific time again. So hope you guys have an awesome creative week, and tools are on sale. So if there's anything that you are in need of replenishing or something new you want to try, it's a great week to go and check out our tools section and pick up some new items for yourself. All right, lots of love. I will see you guys again next Monday with something new, and I'll catch you online this week for Kit Day. Can't wait to see what everyone will be creating. I always enjoy seeing the reveal. I kind of forget what we put in those kits until Sarah opens them back up again. And then I love when I get to see everybody in the VIB Facebook group sharing all the things that they worked on. It's a really fun kit, an interesting color palette, I think. So, all right, see you all later. Bye.